Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And this is for anybody who is an author, or maybe you know somebody who is, of a nonfiction piece of work, not including children's books, and have considered maybe doing an audiobook, but haven't gotten there yet. Don't even know where to start. This is where we start. This guy does it for you, but you actually read your book and he takes care of literally, I hate using the word literally because everybody uses it nowadays, but it's the best description. Everything involved. Hold your hands right through the process. It's fantastic. Robert Lane from Robert Lane Coaching joins us once again, and we're going to talk about a health check, your health in regard to doing this. It means a lot. Robert, welcome back. How are you?
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, good to be back. Yes, health is so important. Health is something that a lot of people are conscious of, and a lot of people are doing things, being proactive with their health, but a lot of people don't even really think about it. They just go through their daily routine, and health is not something that's on the top priority list. Now, in regards to doing audiobook narration, especially as a nonfiction author, you want to narrate your own audiobook, you got to make sure that you're in really good physical and mental health. So let's talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about some of the physical aspects and also some of the mental aspects, because these are things that I do go over with my clients who get enrolled in the audiobook coaching program. And we do talk about health. We do talk about being in the right frame of mind. That's part of the mental aspect of it. We talk about being physically healthy, because if you're not physically healthy, you're not going to do a great narration. You're not going to be at your top form, and you want to be. You want to sound as great as you possibly can, because this is your brand as an author, right? You've published this book, you've written this book. It's this great piece of art that you've created, that you're sharing with the world with your unique stamp, your unique personality. And now when you bring that to the forefront in audio form, narrating your own audiobook, you won't have that same top quality of what you've written now coming out of your voice. And you need to be healthy, have to be healthy.
And it's, all part of a mindset too. If you're healthy, I got to believe you're minimizing your stress, and there can be a little bit of anxiety in doing an audiobook. You've never done it before. So many people will say, I can't do that. No, there's no way. You can. And we help you through all of that. But to minimize your stress in terms of health, what about breathing? So important. And so many of us don't properly breathe, even during our day. I'm not even talking about during the production of the book, just breathing in general, right?
Yeah, there are some things. I guess let's touch on some of the physical aspects of being healthy. First of all, breathing is important, and posture is really important. Whether you're sitting or you're standing, you need to have good postural form. You don't want to be hunched over, leaning into your microphone like this, because your body is not in a form where it can perform to its best ability. So posture is really, really important. Having your feet flat on the ground at shoulder width, is helpful too, because it helps you stay grounded. I'm going to use that word literally, grounded. So, but it makes a huge difference, and it does help with breathing. When you're in conversation, because you want to sound conversational when you do your audiobook, you're taking in air, you're filling your lungs, you're expanding your diaphragm. It's similar to a singer, and you are in control of your breath, because you don't want to talk and talk and talk and talk and then be so out of breath that you're sucking in air like that, because you don't want that sound in your narration. So being conscious of your breathing and doing breathing exercises, getting yourself, again, grounded and focused in the present moment is really, really important. One of the first video modules in my program is actually a mindset exercise where you breathe, you get focused, you put yourself in a state of mind of being in the present moment. You don't worry about the past, you don't worry about the future. You want to be, again, grounded in the present moment so that you can be very laser focused in doing the narration that you're going to be doing. So breathing is very important as one of the techniques. Another important aspect is hydration. Many people, myself included, don't drink enough water, and I need to do that. And a lot of people need to do that too, because to keep your vocal cords hydrated and your mouth hydrated will allow you to have your voice perform at its best level, and it eliminates a lot of the mouth noises that happens when you talk, especially dry mouth. And those sounds are not sounds that you want to have in your narration.
So a couple of thoughts that come up here. Certainly the breathing one. I'm going to share a situation that opened my eyes to all of this. But I have a friend whose son was working on a deck for me. And this is going back probably 2016-ish, around there. And we got to talking. He's like, I'm just tired all the time. I don't know why. I'm just like it's tired. I'm like, I'm feeling the same exact way. As we talked to each other about it, we made each other realize that we weren't breathing properly. As crazy as it sounds, just, taking a lot of shallow breaths during the day. You're busy, you're doing stuff. You're not taking deep breaths, just normal deep breaths. And as crazy as it sounds, that's what it was. And many of us take those shallow breaths during regular life, not even stressful moments, just regular life.
Yeah.
And that impacts us. We feel differently, can't think properly, can't be focused, have clarity. So that was one thought. The other, posture. Do you recommend standing up or sitting down in recording, or is it really a preference of choice in recording an audiobook?
I think it is a preference of choice. For me, when I did my book in audiobook form, I stood. Because I have this energy. I mean, I'm sitting down right now, but usually, I'm like very animated when I'm doing it, but that's okay, because that energy is what you want to bring to the table when you do your audiobook narration, anyways. But you can still have that same energy sitting down. That's fine. So it is a preference. If this is comfortable for you to sit down. If it's comfortable for you to stand, then stand, because ultimately you want to be comfortable. Your recording space is like your haven. It's the place where you do want to feel as comfortable as possible, so that you can speak and be authentic and be conversational and feel very comfortable. And that will, again, elicit a great read. And breathing is very important. Like you mentioned, shallow breaths. Ultimately, we need to oxygenate our body, oxygenate our blood. Deep breaths are what's going to do it. That's why there are breathwork coaches who teach you how to breathe. And I've done, breathwork sessions with some really great breathwork coaches, and it's pretty amazing that we do these, patterns, breathing patterns, and then we release and let go and empty our lungs of air, and then hold it. We don't take a breath in, but our body is so oxygenated that we literally, I'm breaking that word again, don't need to be breathing. We'll sit with, like, I don't know, a minute, 2 minutes, maybe, of emptied lungs, no air, yet there's that desire of, like, oh, I need to, suck in some air. You didn't have that feeling because the body was so oxygenated because of the breathwork exercises. So that's why it is so important to breathe properly, or don't just go shallow breaths all the time. You want to take nice deep breaths and breathe in that oxygen. And again, do this before you do your audiobook narration. Take, maybe 5 breaths, and just deep breaths in through the nose and then out through the mouth, and then in through the nose. Just thinking about a positive affirmation. You're breathing in, I am a great audiobook narrator. And then exhale anything that doesn't serve you, right? Any negative thoughts, anything that doesn't serve you. That's what you're exhaling. You're breathing in, I am in the present moment. I am a great author. I have a great voice. Tell yourself that, breathe that in and feel it. You want to feel that. You want to feel that energy. You want to feel that positivity, because then that comes through in your read. And I know we've talked about this before, about the intangibles, those things you can't physically touch, but you can actually physically feel. You want to feel that emotion. And when you feel that emotion, your listener's going to feel that emotion, because it's in your narration. That subtlety, that intangible is there. And that's what makes a great audiobook narration. And anybody can do it. Any author can do it. You have the ability to do it. Think about it. When you're talking about something that you're really passionate about, where's that energy coming from? It's coming from that core. That's what you bring to the table when you do your audiobook narration. That's why any author, you're a nonfiction author, you have a great book, you 100% can narrate your own book, because you're going to bring that same energy to it.
And I think also approach it in such a positive way. Instead of saying, well, I'm going to do this audiobook. I don't think I'm going to sound that great, but I'll give it a try. I mean, Robert's helped me along. I'll do this. I don't know. What a great opportunity. Every author, everybody, every human is a superstar in their own way. And to your point with the energy, I truly believe that there are reasons why certain works of art, certain artists, musical artists, songs resonate. It's the energy they put into it. And there's an energy imprint. Even when you look at a photograph, even on social media, there's an energy imprint of, I call it energy DNA. I just made that up, but that's how I describe it. There's an energy that's coming off of it when you see a photo. Yeah, all right, there's a pretty person, there's a handsome guy, whatever, but there's an energy behind it. If you put the energy into your audiobook, and there's no reason why you can't, with you helping them along, and everybody can sound great. Doesn't matter what your voice is, it's your distinctive voice. Ain't nobody got your voice. That's a good thing. It's your distinctive piece of work. You approach it from a very positive standpoint. You're going to infuse that audiobook with your energy, and there it's going to resonate. And there, potentially, it's going to sell. All of that.
That's right. Nobody can replicate you. You are unique. Your style, even the pacing of how you wrote your book is in there. Your energy DNA is stamped in your book, and you're bringing that same energy to your narration. And only you can really speak your story the way you want it to be spoken, the way you want it to be heard. Another narrator, as great as they are, they're not you. It's not your energy, it's their energy, and it's their interpretation. You need to put your unique stamp on it. And again, anything that's auto-generated, number one, Audible is going to reject it. They're real adamant about auto-generated.
I wasn't
voice.
aware. Thank you for sharing that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they do reject. Now, of course, AI, is getting, better. But again, why have something that's auto-generated replicate your unique stamp as an individual and as a human being? It's never going to happen. So that's just a cutting corner technique that cheapens your brand as an author, cheapens your expertise, and is a bad representation of you as your product. You've just cheapened your product. So why is somebody going to trust you? If you're going to cut corners on your audiobook, then why would they believe that your written book's going to be any better? Let's say they're looking for an audiobook, and they haven't read your ebook or paperback or hardcover, yet they listen to your audiobook, and if it sounds mechanical or it's AI, or and it's not a good representation of who you are, then that's just going to turn them off, and they're not going to buy your book, and they're not even going to look at your other formats, because it's like, well, if the audiobook sucks, why would I even bother reading the book itself? And you just lost a potential follower or fan of your writing. So
it's such a bad idea
not to cut corners.
I love technology, but it's such a bad idea. And I shared a couple of podcasts back, I'm on the radio side, and I needed a Spanish voice quickly, just for a sentence, very short. And I went online. I was trying to find something AI. Let me just get this done. Horrible experience. couldn't find anything that sounded real. Gave up and finally got somebody. I was able to extend the deadline and got somebody who I normally use just for that. But my point here is that it's not a perfect science. And now just to hear, kudos to Audible. It was Audible, right? That it rejects it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kudos to them for
So
dropping it out of there.
right. So if when you sign up into my audiobook coaching program, it's called Your Book, Your Voice. It's a 6-week program. I provide the equipment for you. So you don't have to worry about that. I teach you how to set up your own recording space. We talk about mindset. We talk about putting yourself in the right frame of mind. Then we go over the audiobook or narration techniques to do a great audiobook, how to do voiceover, the physical aspects, the mental aspects, the emotional aspects. We go over all that so you know what to do, you know how to do it. Mm-hmm. And as your coach, I'm there for you. I'm your safety net. I'm your accountability partner. I am there to make sure that you are sounding great, that you are on track to get through your narration. And then all you need to really worry about is just doing a great narration. You send the audio files to me because as an audio editor, I take your audiobook, I take all the files you record and make sure they're clean, they sound great, that they meet the specifications for Audible and for Amazon and for Apple Books. And then I do the uploading for publication for you, so you don't even have to worry about that. So by the end of the 6-week program, you're done. You are a published audiobook author, and that is an awesome thing. And what really is rewarding for me to see is when an author listens to the final tracks, even when I send them I clean everything up, I send the final mastered audio files back to them. I say, listen to them. If there's anything, let me know. I'll go back and fix it. Because I want them to be 100% happy as well.
Sure.
And just their reaction of hearing themselves and just going, wow, I didn't know I sounded like that. Like they impress themselves as they should, and be very proud of the work that they do. And I'm very proud of the work because they do sound great. These people who think that they can't narrate and then they listen back, they're like, that was, I think I sounded pretty good. And I'm like, yes, you did. You sounded great.
I love the fact that you take care of all of that. And that allows the author, to focus on the read, the mindset, all of that. All the logistics, right down to the equipment, the training, you've got that covered for them. But the one thing you can't do is the mindset. You can't, you can tell somebody you're going to sound great after hearing their voice, but you can't change their mindset that they need to approach it in a very positive aspect and be, just be ready. And also enjoy it. Back to the thought of somebody like, yeah, I know I should be doing this. I'll just get it done. No, it's fun. It's like, how exciting. It's almost, you become an instant star by doing your audiobook, because now you're on the map, and now it's, as an author, that's great. You got a book out there, but taking it to the other step to have an audiobook. Yeah. But you don't have to deal with all the logistics. He does that. I love that. For me, I love that.
Yeah, to take care of that, because that is one of the excuses that I hear from some authors, is that I'm going to do it myself, or I tried to do it myself and I just got overwhelmed, and then they don't do it. No, you still need to do it. But that's why I created the audiobook coaching program that I teach, to take away all that hassle and frustration and confusion and overwhelm, so that you don't have to worry about that. Confidence, again, is another issue, which is something that we've talked about. But that's why I teach you mindset tools and techniques for you to utilize. So even if you're not in the right mindset, guess what? You will be. You will be before you start recording, because we'll get you there. We'll get you there. That's why having somebody as a guide, as a coach, is, it's more than just hiring some company and saying, here, I want to do an audiobook. And let's say you do want to narrate it. They're not going to coach you through it. They're going to grind you through it as quickly as they can to make their quick buck. And, fingers crossed you sound good, because, it's like, if you did, great. If you don't, they don't care. You need to work with somebody who cares, who wants you to sound great.
That's the key point here. You've got their back. You want to make sure they sound the best they can, because it's your reputation on the line. Maybe they'll refer somebody else for another audiobook. You're going to make them sound phenomenal. And I'm not even going to say make them sound as good as they can. No, they're going to sound fantastic
They
because
are going to
with the
sound.
coaching, the proper mindset, the equipment, and also if there's any audio issues, again, you know, if you pop a pee, you make a mouth noise or whatever, just keep going because you can take that out and clean it up.
Yeah. Yep. Clean it up. Make sure everything's good. And again, you have to have, or your audiobook has to be at the right specifications that will be accepted by Audible, Amazon, and Apple Books. And so while I do the uploads, if for any reason there is rejection, I know about it right away. I see what the issues are, fix them, done. So you will be published. You will 100% be published. You know, I'm going to be working with a guy who recorded an audiobook. He did it, you know, at his friend's studio, and there was some issues with it that he wasn't even aware of. And to this day, he is still yet to be approved to get it past Audible, Amazon, and Apple Books. It's still being rejected. So we're going to redo it. We're going to redo it and do it right.
Wow.
You know, let's get it done right the first time.
No pun intended. That speaks volumes. And, you know, we both have somewhat similar backgrounds in terms of audio, but I'll say this right here. I know nothing about publishing an audiobook. Clueless, more than clueless. So I won't even know, even if I produced, you know, I got all the tracks, they're fantastic. I don't know what to do with that. And isn't it fantastic now, Robert, that in this day of technology that you don't have to go into a studio and spend hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and once you add up all the hours that are involved with an engineer and all of that, that you can do it in your own space with your pajamas on, you know, whatever you're comfortable in. How great is that that's available and that you can work with somebody on that level? I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, you know, and again with the equipment, like I vetted several mics, and I wanted to find something that was, you know, that was easy to use, that sounds great. And you know, again, with the audiobook coaching program, you know, there's video modules, you have group calls, you have all these things that are there for you as the author, so you know exactly what to do, how to set up your space, and you know, and I'm there for you as your coach to answer any questions that you have. So you know, it's really a fun process because we make it fun. And, you know, again, the end result is what really makes my day. And every author is just thrilled once they get their audiobook published. Man, it's such a great accomplishment.
Oh, and a rush, if you will, you know, just like you feel good that, wow.
Yeah.
You know, you could have a celebrity has recorded their own audiobook. You've done yours. And you know what? They have a different voice and style, whatever. That's yours. And quality wise, they're going to sound quite similar. They're going to sound quite similar once you get done working with them. I've always wondered when somebody starts the course with you, at what point are they off and running in terms of the actual recording of their book?
Okay, so what we do, like our very first meeting, we talk. Well, first I send them the equipment, so they have it, and then they have access to the video modules, so they can even start watching those because they're very detailed in regards to this is how you set everything up, and I'm very methodical, so I make it really easy. And then we have our first call, and on that first call we talk about that, make sure the setup and preparation is going well, and they should start after we have our very first call of the program. Meaning that they should have their recording space set up, and they send me a test file. And then I listen to the test file and make sure everything sounds great. And if it sounds terrific, I give them the green light and just say, go for it. And we go into the detail about, you know, how to do it, how to split up your audio files and what you need to do. So there's, you know, again, there's a lot of moving parts, but don't let that overwhelm you because that's why I'm here. That's why I do this, because I want to make this easy. So yeah, you can get recording right away. Matter of fact, you know, as soon as you want to get your space set up and start practicing and sending me a test file, do it.
Wow.
And then,
so you could be off and
you're
running like in the first week or so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, by
Yeah.
week 2, I want to be answering questions about audiobook narration and any questions that you have because you're already doing it.
Yeah, I love that. You're off and running. And yeah, okay. For some people, it might take you a little bit longer. Maybe either it's you or maybe you set up the equipment in an area that may have a big room echo. Hey, let's try a different room, whatever it might be. Little tweaks along the way
Sure.
are going to get you there. Very exciting. Very exciting. Like,
Yeah.
to know that you're going to be 100% audiobook published once this is submitted. And that's not so easy if you're going to try and do it yourself, because we don't know how to do that. You know the ins and outs. And like, the reference to the person that went into a studio, had a friend in a studio, it's still not good enough
Yeah.
to be published. So back to square one. Robert, how do we find you?
Just go to robertlanecoaching.com. That's all you need to do. There is information about the audiobook coaching program called Your Book, Your Voice. The first step is just to book a call with me. Just click the button, schedule a call so that we can talk. I always talk to any potential client before I enroll them in my program so I can find out more about their book, what their marketing strategies are, and give them more detail about the program. And if it resonates with you, you're in. We'll get you going. It's that simple.
Terrific.
So schedule a call with me. That's all you need to do.
Super exciting. Get started. Boy, if you took the time to write a book, why wouldn't you do the audio version? Because more and more people are doing just that, listening to books. They're so busy nowadays, but they want to absorb what's in a book. Robert, thank you so much for being here.
Time is not an option, or time is not an excuse. You have the time to write the book. You definitely can book time and schedule time to record it. And remember, action takers are success makers.
Love it.
There's one simple action step, and that's just to schedule a call.
It's fun. That's to me, this is all fun.
And it's fun.
And you got a friend in the business. You got somebody that's watching your back to make sure that you're going to do the best. You're going to do great. This is not even a question about it. It doesn't matter about your voice. We want you to sound natural. We don't want you to sound like an announcer or anything like that. As always, Robert, thank you for being here. And, when we first started talking, I was wondering where's that going to go in relation to the audiobook recording? But it all seems like it's all reasonable that you have to have this and all of this, like you're like a football player on the field. You got to be ready for maximum results. Awesome.
That's right.
All right.
Keep healthy. Yep.
As you should normally. We'll talk soon. Thanks again.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.